Welcome. Good afternoon and welcome to the graduation ceremony for the Edmond Fire Department's 31st Recruit Academy. My name is Joe Elam. I am the Chief Training Officer for the department. At this time, we're very happy and honored to have all of you here today for this celebration, and I would like to recognize several individuals from the City Administration and City Council that have come. Mayor Dan O'Neill, got Ward 2 Council Member Josh Moore, City Attorney Steve Murdoch, Edmond Police Department Deputy Chief Ken Dorsey. I have some very fine folks from the Citizens Fire Academy Alumni Association that are helping today. Diane, her mom Lorna, Doug, and Jean are here. We also have a retired Deputy Chief from the Oklahoma City Fire Department, Mark Woodard. Thanks for being. Like you'd miss it, right? At this time, I'd like to recognize the rest of the training staff who you'll hear from a bit later. Sergeant Brian Brush, Sergeant Craig Williamson. These two men did an unbelievable job of getting these young men ready to serve their community. Their leadership, their ability to pass on their knowledge and skills is beyond compare in the fire service, both nationally and in the state. This has been one of the best recruit classes I've been a part of, and it's because of the two of you. Thank you. I'd also like to give thanks to Chief Goodwin, Deputy Chief Denton, and especially Deputy Chief Neely, who's been my mentor for 25 years. You all gave tremendous support and freedom to the training division to conduct this academy, and it's greatly appreciated. Now I'd like to turn the podium over to Sergeant Williamson, who will introduce our recruits and lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Edmond Fire Department's Class 31. If you would please hold your applause to the end. When I call your name, please stand up. Jesse Button, Chris Conrad, David Cowan, Patrick Finn, Michael Freeman, Bennett Hall, Jason Johnson, Sam Moore, Tyler Swafford, Landon Wooliver, Blake Woodard, Garrett Worley. Class 31, what's our motto?
Attitude and effort, sir. 31.
Ladies and gentlemen, Edmond Fire Department's Class 31. If you would all please stand and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to introduce to you the Fire Chief of the Edmond Fire Department, Fire Chief Chris Goodwin.
Well, thank you for coming today. This is a special day. This is a big deal. And so we're honored to have you with us today and to honor these recruits who worked hard over the last 20 or so weeks to get where they are. So I do want to start by recognizing some members of the command team real quick. And so over here, if you guys would stand up briefly, we've got Deputy Chief John Neely, Deputy Chief Chris Denton. Next to him is Chad Weaver, who will be replacing John Neely when John retires here in a couple weeks. Next to him, we've got Battalion Chief, who we got over there? Greg Westermeyer, and Battalion Chief Barry Garrett. So, and of course, Training Chief Joe Elam. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you, guys. All of these individuals do so much for this department and make things like this possible. Also want to second what Joe said about the training staff. This training staff is rivaled by no others. They are amazing, the things that they've done with these recruits, the passion that they bring to their job, and have poured into these recruits. And I've known that, I've experienced it, I've seen it firsthand. But I got to visit with these recruits for a couple of hours this morning, and it was evident, once again, the labor that went into this recruit class from the training staff. So I'm not going to say a whole lot today. I spent a couple hours with these fine gentlemen this morning, and we had a good conversation. So I'm going to operate off of 3 principles today of public speaking when you're doing something like this. I heard this once, and I thought that goes well, usually. Be clear, be brief, and be seated. Okay? So that's what I'm going to try to do today, be very brief. We've had a good talk. I want to be clear. We're very proud of these men. Okay? They've accomplished a lot. We had 478 individuals apply. We believe we hired the 12 best. And they've proven that. They've made us proud. They've worked hard. They're the right people for this job. And they get it. I truly believe that. They understand what they've accomplished, but they understand that they have a whole lot more to accomplish. They understand the mission. They get it. We're here to serve. Okay? We're here to serve and continue to get better in what we do and to serve the public. And they understand that. And I think they're going to be an amazing addition to our team. We're blessed with a department full of 128 individuals that get that. I'm honored to be the chief here. I'm honored to work with each one of these individuals. And we get it. We understand our purpose is to serve. And so, congratulations, guys. Finally, I'm going to say today is about these 12 individuals. So thank you for coming. Thank you for celebrating with these 12 individuals. I hope you're able to spend some time afterwards going to dinner or spending time as a family and friends and celebrating their accomplishment and congratulating them and making this day special for them. But this is what I told them earlier today, and I think they get this too. Today is all about them. But after today, it's never again about them. Okay? It's about others. And I think they understand that. I think they get it, and I think they will go out and serve with that attitude of service to others. So, again, thank you for coming, and I'm going to turn it back over to Chief Elam.
I want to take a little time just to introduce our speaker for today. This is the last time I will have the privilege to introduce Deputy Chief Neely. As an active member of our department, Chief Neely's last day is exactly 1 week from today. He has been with the department for over 36 years, and his retirement is going to leave a very large hole in our department. I'd like to talk about just a few of the outstanding character traits that John has. The first is compassion. Compassion is a genuine sympathy for hardship or suffering that other people are experiencing and the desire to help ease that pain. There are many ways to show compassion. The important thing is that it comes from the heart. John has demonstrated compassion throughout his entire career. The next trait is passion. Passion is the thing you're driven to do. Purpose is the force that drives you. John has consistently demonstrated his passion and purpose for the Edmond Fire Department. Professionalism, defined as personal qualities and behaviors that demonstrate commitment to effective performance for a given job. John is a consummate professional. Commitment, confidence, responsibility, dependability, honesty, and ethics are all very strong traits that John lives by. Instinct. The adjective instinctive describes something you do without thinking about it. Something that is instinctive occurs naturally. John is one of the most instinctive firefighters I've ever known. Mentor. Mentorship is a relationship in which a more experienced and more knowledgeable person helps to guide a less experienced person. At its core, being a mentor is being a trusted advisor. It can mean a lot of different things, but it all boils down to making yourself available to support and advise someone when they need it, and always keeping that person's best interest at heart. He's been mine for 25 years. Friend. Friendship is someone who will always be there for you, especially in tough times. Friendship is loyalty and honesty. Honest enough to tell you when you're not being a good friend. He's my dear friend. Brotherhood, a society or community of people linked by a common interest, religion, or trade. I personally think that brotherhood is more than a definition. It's a way of life. Brotherhood is more than coming to work and just doing enough to get by. It cannot be inherited or purchased. John has exemplified the meaning of brotherhood within the Edmond Fire Department. These are just some of the outstanding traits that John possesses. Please join me in welcoming Deputy Chief John Meade.
Okay. Don't know how you speak after that. Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you. I want to welcome everybody here today. I'm glad everybody showed up for this wonderful occasion for these 12 young men up here that we're all so very proud of. We're looking forward to getting to that. I like what Chief Goodwin said earlier about trying to be brief. So I'm going to be as brief as I can because I know you didn't come here to hear me, but I got a couple of things I'll say real quick that relate to firefighting. Chief Elam asked me to talk about this bell that you see up in front of you first. This is a tradition in the Edmond Fire Department. Fire Department, the fire service itself is full of tradition. This is one that was started years ago before I got into training by one of our old chief training officers, Ari Postier. This bell is very beautiful today, very shiny. Is that the condition you guys got it in? Not even close, was it? The bell comes to each recruit class all tarnished, beat up, scratched up. It's in terrible, terrible condition. And the challenge is two different things. One of them, to keep the bell clean. They have to daily polish this bell. It took 1 or 2 days, I'm betting at least, to get it clean to where it met the standard. It's inspected every morning by one of the training staff or by the lead instructor for the day to make sure that it meets the standard that we require in this department. And that starts the behavior of pushing them to make sure that they're meeting a high standard every single day, even on mundane tasks such as cleaning a bell. We want them to put that high of a priority on the mundane tasks, because in this business, those mundane tasks can make a big difference between life and death even at times. So that starts it. The bell's also there. If anybody ever decides to quit, they're just done, they want to walk away, they can ring the bell. We'll get them back to their vehicle and they can leave, no questions asked. And luckily, none of these gentlemen have ever rung the bell. So But that's what the bell's about. And it's something that's a tradition that I'm guessing will be carried on. It's been carried on for years now, so, but it's one of our fire department traditions that we use. Before I talk about firefighting, then I want to say something about the training staff that we have. Hands down, I believe the members of the training staff are some of the most knowledgeable and talented firefighters I have ever been around. Not only do they have knowledge and skills, they're very good at passing that on. They're passionate, they're driven. They care about helping people succeed and be the best that they can be in this occupation that we have. And that takes a lot of work. I saw a lot of blood, well, not much blood, a lot of sweat, a lot of energy, a lot of extra work, and a lot of passion and discussion go into preparing for this academy and going through the academy. And I'm very proud of the work that they put in and the job that they've done, and I mean that sincerely. I'm very proud of the individuals we have in our training division and what they've done. To go along with that, I think Chief Elam's going to get more into it a little bit later. They rely on several very talented individuals from within our department that have expertise in certain areas that come out to assist them, and I also want to thank them. You guys were very successful with this academy. Good job to all of you that participated in it. So being a firefighter is a job like no other in the world, but then again, it's the same as every other job in the world. We're called public servants: firefighters, police officers, EMS professionals, dispatchers, public works. A lot of people, a lot of occupations fall into the public servant's realm. But really, if you look at it, what everybody in this room does, I have no idea what your occupation is, but we are all service oriented. The job that you have exists because you provide a service for either a desire or a need that other individuals somewhere in this world have. So all of us are really service oriented. So that makes our job the same as everybody else's job. And we all need to remember that at times. But when you look at firefighters, actually when you look at public service individuals, there's usually a vision of what you might see when you see the public service. And a lot of times it's because we're thrust into a spotlight, just because of some of the tasks that we perform. A lot of people see a vision of a firefighter as a house on fire and then this big red and white, whatever, fire truck rolling down the street. Several people that look like this, crawling out of the rig with bunker gear on, air pack on, dragging off a hose, running into the house, it's on fire. They're going to go put the fire out, possibly rescue a trapped occupant. That's the vision that everybody has of a firefighter. And that is part of our job. That is what they do. That's what they prepare them to do. That's what the men and women in this room are prepared to do every day. But that's only such a small aspect of our job. It only scratches the surface of what being a public servant truly is. I haven't been on the apparatus in, I think, 18 years, or I don't know, something like that. It's been quite a while since I've actually ridden on a rig. But I remember a lady named Ethel, and I actually know that she lived on Pine Oak Circle. I know her last name, and I know her actual house number. We went to her house that often. That was almost 20 years ago that I can remember that. When we went to Ethel's house, sometimes we went over there because she was having difficulty breathing. We would actually load her up help load her up in the ambulance, and she'd go to the hospital. Most of the time we went over there, she'd fallen down. The people that were there to help take care of her couldn't get her back in bed. So we went and did that. There were times that she didn't have any caretakers over there. She'd call 911 and she had a problem. The problem was she was lonely, so the fire truck, we didn't know she was lonely until we got there. We'd drive over there and we'd spend a few minutes talking to Ethel and politely explaining, you can't call 911 for that, okay? But that's some of the memories that I really bring back. Like I said, that's almost 20 years ago, or probably is right at 20 years ago. That's some of the public service that we talk about when you talk about the first responders and what they do. So it's not, though that firefighting is part of what they do, that's a dangerous part of what they do, it is so much more vast than that. You know, in centuries past, firefighters were hired for bravery, strength, endurance, and their fighting ability, fisticuffs. the willingness to go out and fight. Fire companies in the same community used to get out and fight, some for sport, some to obtain territory of where they could fight fires and different things. That's actually one of the things that was very important in the fire service centuries ago. We've changed. We get along a whole lot better now. So, not just within our department, but with neighboring departments and throughout the world, throughout the country. We have a bond and we've grown together. In decades past, autocratic leadership was important. Now, we still have autocratic leadership out on the fire ground. There's one person in charge. He's going to tell everybody what to do, and they're going to go do it. But even in recent decades, we've had autocratic leadership in the firehouses, in the fire departments. There was one person at the top. He told you what to do, when to do it, and sometimes even how to do it. And that's what you did. You just moved forward. I was told when I got hired on that I was paid from the neck down. I wasn't supposed to pay. Well, we've changed that autocratic leadership. We've had to switch things around. Now we look for leaders instead of managers in the fire service. We want people in our department, in the fire service, that are focused on the needs of the employees, the needs of our citizens, and doing what is good for both. We want individuals that are going to provide support for the employees that they're responsible for. So there's been a big change even in that area in the fire service. In recent past, we had sayings in the fire department. I was told when I got hired on, you put the wet stuff on the red stuff. Essentially what that meant is you open the nozzle and you put water on the fire, and that was it. That was basic firefighting. So, but you didn't put water anywhere else because you didn't want to waste water. I guess we don't have a whole lot of that laying around, so we want to be careful with the water. Things have changed. Science is so big in our industry now, in our profession, it's not even funny. We now have ALS, advanced life support care. Science is really big when it comes to EMS care, ALS care. Our guys have to go through 2 years of school just to become a paramedic to serve in our ALS program. There's a lot of science involved there. There's now science in putting out fires, reading smoke, how and when you're going to apply water, what type of stream. There's lots of research that goes into firefighting. It's not as simple as what it used to be. Fires have changed over the years. They've become more dangerous. There's more elements that we have to worry about, more conditions that we have to worry about. So things have changed, and we have to keep up with the changes. So we're definitely not paid from the neck down anymore, like I was told. We have to have people that are willing to think. They have to be analytical, they have to make quick decisions, and they have to be able to do it on their own without that autocratic leader standing right beside them telling them all the time what they do. They have to be self-thinkers, they have to be motivated. To go along with these, we need personnel who we need personnel to serve who possess character traits of humility, servitude, compassion, integrity, and teamwork. But for me today, the fire service comes down to 3 words: privilege, trust, and respect. This is where the job is like no other in a lot of ways. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve in this department and this profession for as long as I have, to serve beside the people that I've gotten to work with, whether it be the people in this uniform or some of the other uniforms I see in the room, and just the other people that we work with in the community. People call 911 because they're having a bad day. It might be the worst day of their life, but they want help. There's something going wrong in their life, so they call 911. And they ask for us to show up. They are placing an immense amount of trust on the people that are responding, because they call 911 knowing that somebody was going to come help them. They don't have any idea who, but they know that somebody's on their way to help. That places a great amount of, they're placing a great amount of trust in us. This is where the privilege comes in. This is a privilege because the people that call us are asking us into their lives for possibly the most tragic event they've ever experienced. And they're asking us to come participate in that with them. They're asking us to help solve that. So can you imagine what it takes to willingly open your door and let people that you have no idea who they are come in and be part of that tragic event that you have? This could be a medical issue, could be a child not breathing, a child choking. Could be somebody's spouse, been married for 10 years. You've been married for 50 years or 60 years. And they're having a true medical emergency. And you're asking people that you don't know to come into your house and help you. This is what turns this into a privilege. It could be that your house is on fire. Think of all the memories that you have in that house, all the pictures that you have in that house. Hopefully there's not a loved one that's trapped in that house that needs rescuing. These are the reasons that people call 911. These are the reasons men and women in this room exist. But it's honestly, truly a privilege to do the job that these people in this room get to do, because we get invited in to those worst days. The men and women in this room are highly trained. They're very motivated, they're very disciplined, and they strive to always perform to their best. A lot of times, they're very successful when they go out on incidents. A lot of times they're not. But what's interesting about what happens at the end of it is usually, no matter the outcome, those people that we've gone to help thank us. Their house could have just burned to the ground. There could have been a lot of damage in their house. They could have lost a lot of those pictures and memories. They're going to thank you for doing the best that you could, for that effort that you've given. Potentially they've lost a loved one, and they're still going to thank you for what you've done most of the time. Now, how humbling is that? That is why it is such a privilege to work in this profession, to work alongside the men and women that I've been able to work with for years, that truly have a calling to come do this, that just want to go help and do the best that they can. Now, we must remember how this trust has been established, that the citizens have given us. They don't know us individually. I don't ever remember John Neely getting called to a fire. I don't ever remember. I can name off a lot of names in here. We don't know who we show up to help. They don't know us. They might have seen us on a big red fire truck at some time, but they want the big red fire truck showing up. They call 911, and all they're wanting is a big red fire truck, a black and white cruiser. But what they want to see is not John Neely or any other name that I could come up with. They want to see a uniform, they want to see a badge, and they want to see a patch. That's where the respect comes from. The respect comes from generations and generations of people before us who have built this into what it is. This is what first responders do. They built up that respect. It was granted to me when I got here. It's been granted to the other men and women in the room. It's now being granted to you. But this was built long before us. And that's where the respect comes in. We have to remember what those before us have built. And we're just handed so easily. This is a tremendous responsibility that we have now. Because not only do we need to support that, we need to try to we need to attempt to continue to improve upon that. And always do our best, always be prepared to handle the incidents that we go on. To me, that's what a firefighter is today. That's what we're here for, and that's how we perform. For the recruits, always be prepared to do your job to the best of your abilities. Serve others with compassion, integrity, courage, and humility. Remember, serving in this profession is probably one of the greatest privileges you ever have in your life. Good luck and congratulations, guys. Thank you.
It's a cat. Whoa. Here, have one right there. There we go. This academy would not have gone as well as it did without the help of many of our officers, drivers, relief drivers, and firefighters. The training staff and I are extremely grateful to the department personnel who stepped in during this academy and passed on their knowledge and skills to these 12 young men. The following individuals graciously assisted with this academy. Please stand as I call your name. Deputy Chief John Neely. Battalion Chief Sean Horn, Barry Garrett, and Greg Westemeyer. EMS Chief and his staff, Chief Brian Davis, Sergeant Kyle Shelton, Sergeant Josh Hillis, the Chief of Prevention and his staff, Chief Mike Fitzgerald, Captain Brent Armour, Captain Jacob Stangl, Sergeant Jesse Benny, and Sergeant Chad George. Captains, P.T. McMurtry, Jeremy Gary, Luke Gregory, Jeremy Sanders, Charlie Michael. Lieutenants, Jeff Thompson, Travis Haddock. Drivers, Lyndall Wood, Ollie Hicks, Stephen Rainey, Casey Stewart, Nick Hamar, Brian Hale, Jason Eggleston, Brandon Thornbrew, Luke Martin, Courtney Powell, Justin Mann, Lance Ford. Relief drivers, Braden Zelnicek, Isaiah Lovejoy. Are you getting the point that we get a lot of help from people in this department? Absolutely. Firefighters, Logan Christensen, Ben Wilcox, John Wilson, Jason Dillon, Kyle McCoy, Wes Hudson, Lance Boyd, Jimmy Weathers, Kevin Haney, Justin Laramie, Jeremy Martin, Tyler Smith, Matthew Hurd, Travis Terrell, Corey Charmerson, Johnny Gibson, Dustin Page, Jack Witt, and Cody Sanders. I want to give a special thanks to Mark Boyles, who just had to leave. He is our IT specialist, and since I'm a pen and paper kind of guy, he has one path from his office to mine. He also does our recruit video, which you guys will see. It's amazing. Nancy Lazaro, Diane Davis, Gene Warden, and Josh Gray. Please accept my apology if I left someone out. There's a lot of folks. Please show your appreciation with a round of applause. I'd like to bring up Sergeant Williamson for his presentation.
If I could have brought a burpee up here, we'd probably laugh a little bit more. Maybe shaking, I'm not sure. I would like to thank everyone for coming out today to support this impressive group of young men. It's been my honor and pleasure to work with these young men. Some of them are former professional baseball players, collegiate quarterbacks, wrestlers, a few who have had very little athletic background. Regardless of their backgrounds, I think every single one of the men learned the mental and physical challenges of being a firefighter. I pray these men never forget how far attitude and effort can get you. Always believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside of you that is greater than any obstacle. The job of being a firefighter isn't easy. It can be very physical, mentally, and emotionally demanding. Going into a burning building when temperatures ranging from 100 to several thousand degrees, while wearing 40 to 80 pounds of gear, dragging a charged hose line that weighs between 70 and 200 pounds, forcing doors, rescuing people from the building. All these tasks require a special mindset and physical ability. During this academy, these men have physically pushed themselves, performing thousands of burpees, push-ups, pull-ups, squats, and even learning the pleasure of our favorite song, Bring Sally Up, Bring Sally Down. Running until their feet hurt, and then resting in the plank position until they were shaking like an Oklahoma earthquake. We have asked a lot of these men, and they have all responded. physically pushing their bodies further than they have ever before, learning how not to listen to that voice in their head telling them to quit. During these 22 weeks, every single one of these men has stood out to the instructors. As part of the academy, we perform a fitness evaluation to begin the academy. We then repeat the physical evaluation at the end. We perform various exercises from a 1.5 mile run, plank hold, max push-ups in a minute, pull-ups, and a wall squat function test, to name a few. This award tonight doesn't go to the man who trimmed off 5 minutes from his 1.5 mile run, or to the man who held a plank for over 10 minutes, increasing his time by 9 minutes from his testing scores. Although deserving of recognition, the warrior who increased his push-ups from 53 to 81 will not receive this award either. During this academy, over half the class increased their final pull-up numbers by 10 or more. We ended up having more than 8 of these outstanding gentlemen finishing with over 20 pull-ups. To a group, this was one of the hardest to pick out one person who should be awarded this recognition. In this class, we could have handed out multiple awards today for the Endurance Award. So if you would, please give all 12 of these men a round of applause for their hard work and for embodying our phrase, attitude never. This award goes to the individual who made impressive improvements, not only physically, but mentally. When this gentleman started the academy, he was shy and nervous during workouts, seemed to be unsure of his abilities. However, he was eager to learn and hungry to improve. He wasn't always the first to finish workouts or the strongest during the workouts, but he had a "I won't quit" attitude. Constantly pushed himself every day, learning every day that his physical limitations were not his abilities, but rather between his ears. He is always willing to give a helping hand, gladly helping other recruits finish their workouts, even after he finished his workout. He wasn't always the fastest on our runs, but he gave it all, ending with an impressive puke session on our final 1.5 mile run. So on behalf of the Edmond Fire Department Training Division, it is my pleasure to recognize the Endurance Award for the 31st Edmond Recruit Academy to Landon Woolard. So it's my pleasure to introduce Brian Brush for the top recruit award.
Congratulations, Woolard. That was an impressive on all fours. I know we've made a lot about these gentlemen tonight, but Chief Neely reminded me of something that we know well in the fire service, that we stand on the shoulder of giants. And while this night is about them, I know that none of them would be through those 23 weeks if it wasn't the giants that are in the room here. The support of a spouse, the values instilled in them by parents, the smile of a child, all those things are what get these guys through 12 weeks. So I would hope that you would give the room a round of applause. I've been in the fire service for 23 years now, but the fire service has been a part of my life for much longer. I think back to going to the volunteer firehouse with my father as a child, having the rigs come to the school as a child, going to parades, movies like Towering Inferno and Backdraft, all those things left impressions on me that seeded a dream to become a firefighter someday. And I'm blessed that the people that I've worked with and the places that I've worked have continued to fuel that flame that drove me to pursue this dream. And I'm blessed today that I love this job. as much as I do now as when I turned in my first application. I believe that at some point all of these men had that dream to become a firefighter just as I did as a child. And when they get their badges tonight, that dream will be realized, and it is a very, very precious moment that we get to share with them. I also think that at some point in the last 23 weeks, that dream was called into question. I think that somebody in this room might have thought that they weren't going to make it, if not all of them. I know this is certainly the case for the Class 31's top recruit. The first weeks of the academy are extremely rigid. I think we could even call them punishing. The purpose is to test commitment and establish discipline really early on. But I remember in those first 3 weeks, this individual, I was concerned that he might be giving up on his dream. I remember myself and Sergeant Williamson going directly to Chief Elam and saying that we were concerned about one of our guys. And we do view you guys as one of our guys, even from the start. And that day, Chief Elam pulled this recruit into his office and explained to him that we are not here to break you, we are here to build you. And you're Edgerton firefighters, and we want the best for our department and the best for you as young men. And he had a simple message for this recruit that all you have to do is put in the same effort as we do to you, and that will build that firefighter that you've been dreaming of being. And you guys all match that effort. It's extremely difficult in this group to decide who the top recruit was. You all invested heavily with a tremendous amount of effort, heart, passion, everything, and you can be proud that you did earn your badges today. The 100+ firefighters out there in the street right now know that badges aren't given or gifted, they are earned. And you have to earn that every day. It's been echoed in everything that people have said. With determining the top recruit, it was extremely challenging, but in the end, we look to Jesse Bunton. I should have said a whole applause for the end. We witnessed a point where Jesse had to do some deep introspection on whether or not he could see this through. I think there was a point where he had to determine whether this was something that he was capable of doing. And all of us in the training division witnessed Jesse flip that switch and determine this dream was something that he wasn't going to give up on. Recruit Bunton worked from near defeat to the highest academic average in the class. Also had some of the biggest physical gains in the academy as far as fitness goes. And he also earned the respect of his peers for his skills, for which he had never been exposed to them before. So most importantly, he developed a passion for our profession, a great personal pride in the tangible value of his hard work, and probably my favorite thing that developed over the course of the 23 weeks is a now ever-present smile and him being at work. So please join me in recognizing Jesse Bunton as the top recruit for the Class 31. So, to Jesse, whose last name was mispronounced probably more than anybody in the academy, congratulations, and to all you gentlemen, please keep firing your life, a deep passion for what we do, and great purpose. Thank you. I believe now we're going to have Recruit Freeman to the recruit address.
Just want to say hi to everybody, city leadership that came out today, everyone from our department that came here. Mr. Boyles for giving me a microphone to clip on so I don't have to bend over this short podium. And then obviously our family and friends. We're just really very, very blessed to be here, all of us, all 12 of us. We've been here for 22 weeks, just had a ton of fun. Started out a dozen guys just in a room together, going to climb a ladder when it was about 25 degrees, it felt like. And now I've got 11 brothers. So just kind of want to tell you guys just a little bit about us, where we came from. All of us just have a lot of different paths. Class 31 has a very, very diverse past. We're sons of school administrators, truck drivers, mechanics, firefighters, and various other occupations. As a whole, we obviously come from different backgrounds and different professions as well before this that led us here. We got guys that are former police officers, guys that are former EMS personnel, teachers, mechanics, some big time wrench twisters, and even some guys that were firefighters before this. We range in age from 24 to 32. It's, 8 years can be a pretty big gap right there, but we're all about the same maturity, which became pretty evident as soon as they put us in a rig and we figured out where the switches were for the lights and sirens. Wound those up a few times, no doubt. But so here we are today at graduation, 22 weeks later, really grown a ton, pushed ourselves intellectually, academically. Some of us came from zero fire experience. My father was a firefighter, but I really didn't know much any of it. I remember going out, one of the first days we went to one of the stations, and I looked at one of the guys and I was like, "Hey, what is that?" And he's like, "I don't know, man, just ask." Okay, I called one of the firefighters over. "Hey, what is that out there?" "That's a hydrant wrench." That's an important piece of the pie, yeah. And then we pushed ourselves physically, as you've heard about. I've got a few statistics from our class. Over 22 weeks, class 31 had several different things that we kind of kept track of. Garrett Worley ate about 226 Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Lake Woodard ate about 85 feet of Subway sandwiches. We brewed no less than 417 pots of coffee. Wolver and I probably drank most of those, honestly. We went through 239 red shirts. Luckily, we're on to the grays now. And drank about 150 gallons of Sarasport, which is basically our equivalent of Gatorade. But on a more serious note, our instructors were awesome. You've heard a little bit about them today already. Chief Elam leads the training division, just did a great job in that leadership role, managing those two gentlemen, as well as Kevin Davis, while he was with us, and just really assembled a great department. Sergeant Brush is a renowned instructor on all things fire. Not very many people get to learn in a lifetime some of the stuff that he taught us. And I just remember one of my buddies texting me saying, "Hey, is Brian Brush in y'all's department still? Is he in training?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Listen to everything that guy has to say, man. I paid to go listen to him, and we got paid to listen to him." So that was a pretty awesome experience. And then Sergeant Williamson, he just made us do a bunch of purchasing. No, but seriously, he pushed us. A lot of us grew in leaps and bounds. Some of us thought we were in really good shape to do the job, and those guys he pushed over the edge to just really be where we need to be, and guys who came in lacking made leaps and bounds to be where they need to be. Then the shift guys, you heard all those names that got called earlier. A ton of them. They came down and brought us some fresh ideas, a new voice, a different way of seeing things, and really just helped us have a really good time. As much as anything, we've grown really, really close. You guys probably know at least one of these guys pretty well. You know that we're all pretty good jokesters a little bit. You guys hear every time we say 31, you're going to hear probably 11 other guys say 31. Taking pride in class 31. Every time they hear the number 31. So, as we leave here today, we get to start our profession. Like's been said several times. This is something that we've all looked forward to for a really, really long time. Very few of us just applied and got on the first time. We've been really seeking this out, this profession, and we've all talked about it a million times of how much of a blessing it is that we didn't get on places before that we thought we wanted to, and just how God put us in the right place to really flourish and to get to know each other, and just in the best atmosphere that we possibly could, and to serve the people at Edmond. We're all just very, very, very blessed and excited to move on with that career. As we move on, we get to be firefighters. I can't imagine a little boy's dream to do much anything else. It's just the best job in the world, in an incredible city, incredible citizens, and just to really give back to people. We look forward to just continually growing, continually learning, doing things to better ourselves so that we can better the department and better our community. And like Sergeant Brush said, we couldn't do this without our families. All of you that are here that obviously played a major role in at least one of our lives at some point. I just want to say thank you to you guys, to our wives that have kind of picked up the slack whenever we've come home and just been beat tired, to our kids that kind of rejuvenate us whenever we come home and think we're tired and let us know it's not time to go to sleep, it's time to play now. And to parents that have really just taught us tons of things, work ethic, and just put us in the place to have success here. We look forward to diligently serving in all parts of the department as we move forward, whether it's suppression, training, prevention, whatever it might be. And just Class 31 really looks forward to our career as firefighters and hope it's a long and healthy one. Thank you.
We're going to now present the Recruit Academy video. We're going to have to do a little bit of setting up first. When I say jump, they say how high. Again, Mark Boyle, I wish he was still here. He had to leave to catch a plane. His ability to put these things together from all the really bad videos that I seen him on off a phone, and when you see this, he is absolutely amazing.
Fifth time there.
Fifth time there.
So you shouldn't be overwhelmed anymore.
It still manages to overwhelm me like no other event out there.
Yeah.
But it was great. I wore this beautiful custom Michael Kors gown, which
Beautiful.
was insane. I also had this amazing clutch that had my name on in Chinese. And
turn it up some. Good.
A little farther left. More 12. Right there. Throw it.
Wait. 3 o'clock. Right there. Yes. Correct.
You fail this test, it's not 100 push-ups, it's 1,000 push-ups. Let's go! One more!
Does it meet your approval?
Yes, it meets my approval, but it's staying out today.
There's no way that's coming.
On your back. Alright, so I'm gonna go up. Come straight out 90, that'll still create that friction. Now you can bring your hand in a little bit more.
Accident with injury, Covell and I-35. Map page 50D, David, engine 4, engine 5, truck 5. Response to accident with injury at Covell and I-35. Map page 50D, David, engine 4, engine 5, truck 5. Response to accident with injury, Covell and I-35.
Weeks wrapped up in that. I think we're at the point of the ceremony that you guys have been waiting for, probably everybody. This is going to be the presentation of their certificates and helmets and badges. Chief Goodwin, Chief Neely, and Chief Timmy. As I call your name, please come up. Jesse Vine. Chris Conrad. David Cowan. Patrick Finn. Michael Freeman. Bennett Hall. Jason Johnson. Sam Moore. Tyler Swafford. Landon Wolver. Blake Woodard. Garrett Worley. Okay, at this time, we're going to ask these brand-new firefighters to line up across the front of the room, and they've asked family members and pin their badges on for them. Would you please come up? You guys can line up a little straight. You gentlemen, please take your seat. Chief Goodwin is going to administer the pledge of service to you.
All right, guys, if you'd all stand, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, David Cowler,
solemnly pledge that I will faithfully perform the duties of firefighter to the best of my ability.
that I will faithfully perform the duties of firefighter to the best of my ability.
I will obey and uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
I will obey and uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma,
the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma,
the Charter, ordinances, and policies of the City of Edmond,
the Charter, ordinances, and policies of the City of Edmond,
and the policies and procedures of the Edmond Fire Department.
and the policies and procedures of the Edmond Fire Department.
I accept my responsibility as a member of the fire service
I accept my responsibility as a member of the fire service
to uphold and honor the integrity of our profession,
to uphold and honor the integrity of our profession,
to encourage and support my fellow firefighters,
to encourage and support my fellow firefighters,
and to serve and protect the citizens of our community.
to serve and protect the citizens of our community.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 12 newest members of the Edmond Fire Department.